Hello to the community. What's up? It's been a while. Long time no see. I'm back from a bunch of hard weeks, actually. And it's not going to get easier, but I'm going to start doling out updates in this way with a little more regularity. So, what are we talking about today? Today is a word about training, specifically agentic training. And I think you know that we're going to be talking about agents quite a lot in these videos moving forward. It's about HIROS, but it's also really about Bignoodle. So, so what do I want to say about training today? I want to relate it to rare traits. You know how we deem rare traits valuable in art collections, that is ordinals, that is NFTs. The rarer the trait, the more valuable that asset might be. Well, you know, when thinking about training and capabilities or talents or skills or whatever we want to call them officially in the future, I don't know, but the abilities that these agents have, some of these might end up quite rare, actually. I was talking to the guys at Blockrunner and MScribe. That's Will and I, man. And I had some ideas about how to use DMT, right? Pardon. Because I am a DMT maxi, for sure. I think what's going to happen is we're going to use DMT to give agents persona, right? They all have agency, but persona is kind of a weird thing. I thought they might be blank slates, actually. And then you, the holders, give them persona. But DMT is going to drive how they speak, how they think, what their characterization might be, and also some skills, some inbuilt skills that are free. So when they're born, let's say, right, they're born with certain talents, and that is driven by DMT. These are going to be pre-built workflows, technically speaking, under the hood, that myself and the team creates in a front end called N8N. And N8N, I've mentioned before, is an open source kind of authoring environment. It's node-based to create skills and create tasks for agents. It's a way to train up an agent, teach it stuff, and give it the tools that it needs to act on those learnings. And basically, we're going to make a bunch of those that are kind of triggered at birth, at minting, when, with DMT behind the wheel. So that should be pretty exciting. And I'll get into a little more about what that tool means to us. The most exciting, though, that I'd love to just shout out right now is, I love AI16Z. I love that stack. I love virtuals. It was all part of a first wave that got us to where we're going, and that's great. But, by using N8N as part of our stack, we automatically get more than 400 API integrations. That means whether it's Airtable for databases, Pinecone for vector storage, those are technical things, but less technical things are like access to your Google Drives, so you could feed it a folder full of textbooks because you want an agent who understands everything you're studying as a student, maybe, or whatever it is. There's probably an API for that, and these 400 plus integrations actually work out to more like 1,000 plus, maybe thousands of individual integrations, meaning the hooks that an API needs to do things. And yeah, I'm rambling now, but that's really exciting. It gives us a lot of ability at day one, and it's the kind of abilities that you don't find on some of the older Wave 1 stacks, right? So, they're probably working hard at what their own Wave 2 looks like and what their marketplaces are going to look like in the future. But I'm really kind of keen on coming out with a ton of ability right off the bat, right? And yeah, DMT is going to build some of these talents, some of these abilities into your agent at day one, and you get to start playing with those abilities and adding more. Going back to rare traits, now let's say you have a special interest. Okay, I'm gonna pick some of my own. I might show up at the marketplace and find that I really like the quality of a training for agents that is about sci-fi, hard sci-fi, right? Goes really deep. I think somebody spent a lot of time crafting it. They put a lot of effort into it, high quality. Whatever they're charging for it, I think it's worth it, and I want to buy it and apply it to my own agent. That's how the marketplace works, right? You're not exactly buying agents, you're buying these different skills. And let's say I'm also into comic books, and I buy an agent that represents an old comic store owner, right? And this old comic store owner knows everything going back to the classic age. And, maybe I deem that agentic training really worth it, and I add it to my agent too. Now I've got an agent who's an expert at both of those things, right? I'm basically able to have a conversation with it, or use it as reference, or use it as a writing buddy, or whatever. And it knows everything about these two subjects. So, okay, hard times befall me. I need to liquidate some stuff. I end up selling these things, and I can sell the agent with both of those trainings on it, and maybe I've trained it up to do some stuff where the overlap exists in those talents. And I might consider these rare traits in its own right. And I might want to charge a lot, but or maybe not. Maybe I'm out for sharing, right? And but the idea is that this is now an ordinal that has one-of-a-kind capabilities, and the market shall speak as it does, right? I can give it a value of my own, and maybe others agree with that value. Maybe people fight over it. So there might be folks who show up with different kinds of interests. Maybe somebody shows up interested in decentralized science. They're a student or maybe a PhD who acts as a referee, and they know what the pain points are. And I'm speaking kind of from experience here, because we're working on a DeSci agent right now. So this is actually not off the cuff or made up, but there's some real pain points. And the idea here is it's not just a rare trait of a talent. It's more like I show up because I want to train up a whole bunch of, I was going to say heroes, a whole bunch of blank agents, and go into business with them and sell these agents to researchers who want a first pass at their papers before getting in front of a PhD who might turn it back around. And the PhD who's acting as referee is like, they're really busy, and this is free labor. This is, they're basically donating their time, and they don't have a lot of time on their hands in the first place. So there's real pain points where agents are perfect for. So you might have ideas like that that you're already into, and deeply because maybe it's part of your career, or maybe it's something you have a passion for. And by having those insights, you can train up your agent, put it on the marketplace, see how it does, and if it does really well, rinse, repeat. You could buy another blank, or, it's not totally blank because it thanks to DMT, but it's, you apply the same training and sell it again. If you want, do 100 of them and dilute the marketplace, up to you, or do them a few at a time. Again, the market will speak. And I find that pretty exciting. It's going to be like its own little economic study, but it's not about scarcity of an asset only because of rare traits. It's going to rely heavily on the quality of said training and the quality of how the agents perform those tasks. So, and of course, in the marketplace, there will be things like ratings and comments and the ability to try an agent out and demo it. So I think that's all like going to be really interesting. And I guess I want to say something about quality. I want to dwell on that for a second more. So the first wave of agents in the past, I mentioned AI16Z and virtuals, super relevant. They paved the way. But I think the next wave of agents, which we're a part of, is going to be all about the quality of agents, the quality of what they can do, how they add value to our bags, but also how they can help us if we're using the agents and not just holding them, right? So quality is really the name of the game moving forward, and to be able to exhibit that quality is going to be a big boost to the infrastructure that we're working on. We're going to do well because there's traction with the overall idea. Inference is going nowhere. Agents is going nowhere. It's going to be increasingly a part of life. Web 3 and Web 2. So I'm a firm believer in that. But the idea here is to make it really a smooth experience, make it really frictionless, make it easy to use for those who need that, and make it more advanced for those who need that. That's where we're going to make our little fees, our tiny little taxes, if you will. And, as you guys have heard me ramble on about in the past, there is, there's a lot to be said about the DPIN as our moat. That's our defense, our most defensible feature at Bignoodle. It is the fact that we have a trusted execution environment built into the fact that we're doing bare metal, meaning we know about every computer, we know about the whole network, because we're building an agentic internet on the internet, right? And then there's a TEE at the software level too. We're using a lot of compiled microservices. It's impossible for somebody to inject anything there. Anyway, I've talked about that stuff plenty in past videos, but it's there that the value exists. It's what's different than everything we've seen before. So yeah, now let me just give you a quick update on the voice agents. So I posted something on Twitter that was about Twitter Spaces I'm going to start holding, which are totally run by voice agents. I'm in the room. I'm kind of like the technician, just in case I'm needed, because this is new territory. Nobody's doing this stuff, right? But really, it's like an interviewer and an interviewee who are autonomous. They have a knowledge base, but they're speaking on their own and having a conversation. And people will be able to come up to the mic, also autonomously controlled, and the action of bringing someone up to the mic, and interact with the agents. So you all and myself can try to stump them, can ask questions about lots of topics, and they're going to be a wealth of knowledge. So we're about to do that pretty soon, maybe next week, and then it's going to be a weekly thing, and we've been testing it in different languages. I've also talked about that in a prior video. So the idea is, I hope, it's, you never know when something's going to go and get a little viral and get its 15 minutes of fame. But I hope, because this is new, because it's kind of part stunt and part experiment, that's not been done before. Like, I think it's going to be really interesting. It might get legs. Like people, a lot more people might tune into it than we're expecting. Fingers crossed, right? And on that note, it's like, there's no reason that these autonomous kind of podcasters can't be used for any subject matter. That is, any text file you give it, any Google Doc you give it, any PDF you give it, textbook or otherwise, right? So it's pretty exciting. It's pretty interesting. And these are the kinds of agents that we're also going to have on the platform and in the marketplace. So yeah, the voice agents, I think, is a good representative of the kind of quality a second wave can bring. And I guess the final thought I have here in my little notes is this idea of like an accelerator model in a way. So the past implementations of a token economy for agents never really struck me as that sustainable. Luna, of course, bubble to the top, and it's a case of tokens. You buy into an agent by buying their token, right? Maybe we get to a point where it feels like there's too much noise and there are too many agents out there, maybe not doing the same thing, but doing it in the same way, right? So things tend to get a bit saturated in a bubble, and I feel like maybe that's happened. We get to learn from it and make some decisions about how to do things maybe differently, and that's why we're giving provenance per agent through ordinals and through Solana NFTs. So you own an agent. You can clone an agent. You put the hard work into making that agent special. It's not a big old pot of tokens for an agent as a project. The project here consists of the 21,000 agents, right? It is the swarm, and the swarm is made up of individual agents, the agents you and I and everybody who participates owns. So I think it's a much smarter way to handle the economy, handle the tokenomics. And why did I mention an accelerator model? It's because some ideas will bubble to the top. Some ideas, let's say the DeSci one, have a real potential to make impacts or disruption. Let's call it disruption, and change the game in different sectors. So those are the ones that might be more, I don't know if I want to say more deserving of, but might really get a big boost by maybe getting a little chunk of change for development, maybe, and for sure getting free inference time, free compute time on our network, that kind of thing, and being highlighted. And that's because these agents can be businesses. They can be self-run 24/7 businesses, and I really want to see that happen, right? I want to, everything I'm doing, I'd love to see it lead to a world where people are doing amazingly because of the time they put into building an agent and then setting it free, putting it out in the world, and that agent is out there doing what it's built to do and earning. It doesn't have to be via trading. It could be from any manner of task. But if that's happening, I'm gonna be wearing a Kool-Aid smile in a big way, because that means that progress may be happening across many sectors, and that's really interesting to me. I love the idea of innovation, infiltrating and doing things better, right? So yeah, that's where we are going to act like an accelerator model. We're probably going to pull together folks who have interest in maybe investing, not in us, but in these projects, these vertical markets. We're the horizontal, right? We are the infrastructure. The vertical ideas, the vertical businesses are the ones that are built on top of us. So yeah, we're probably going to pull together folks who want dibs at saying, I really think this DeSci model can go far. Let me invest in this, and let me invest in it through your platform. So, yeah, just some thoughts. It's still, all of this will take shape. That's down the line. Let's get the thing up and running first. I want everything up and running before Las Vegas, Bitcoin Las Vegas. I forget what those dates are, but yeah, it's not far off. It's pretty much around the corner. So I think in the next video, I'll talk more about how the team has grown a lot, and it's not grown by individuals who are necessarily in my network. It's grown by teams who are doing their own things, and these are teams that you've probably heard of. I've been talking to folks like Tapalytics, of course, Track Systems, and there's a short list of people who are doing their own projects, have their own North Stars, but they're into this and they want to be part of it. So they're getting different chunks of it, which is amazing. I'm like, some of these people, I really admire their brains, and it's going to be an honor to have them, taking parts of the platform and owning it, basically. So to me, it's just pretty incredible, and I feel grateful for a lot of things, and that's maybe top of the list. That's up there with when HIROS minted and people joined in. So grateful for everybody who participated in that too. And in the same way, I'm really psyched that these guys are coming aboard and saying, we're good on money, we'll figure that out later, whatever. It's like, it's not the driving force. Everybody gets paid, of course. I'll insist on that, but I really love that their head is in it for reasons that matter, I guess you could say. They're in it for the impact. So yeah, I rambled enough once again. Good to be back on camera, and I won't disappear for so long moving forward. Thanks all. Peace.